I come across a small firm, very small one, 3 shops, sushi takeaway. And, this is a very good business, making their money. But then come the crisis, people reduced the spending, and this business started to say, I need to look at something because if I want to maintain at least the same level of last year, I need to come up with something new. Buying new shops was really not an option because their capital constraints were quite big. So they had to come up with something by leveraging better the assets that they already had, so those 3 shops. So what they did is to say, we got a lot of customers and they do buy, but they tend to buy either some sushi or the dessert, or they come in and they only buy a few things and they go away. And so what they did is to say, we could perhaps, people they're looking for a better return for their bucks. I mean, they're looking for good value for money. Why we don't come up with a loyalty card with a good, discount policy that can reward fast the people? And they investment very, very little. They went on the internet. They found a software that could manage that process completely free. They set it up, and as well, and on top of that, they introduced a corporate catering service, just very basic. Just went on to sell an existing product to potentially existing clients that they were only using the shop directly to their firms. Third, they launched, something to say. They were in an area which is heavily office-based, so very, very little business in the evening. So they decided to open 2 extra hours in the evening, but they had to find the ways to get people in the shop. So what they come up with is just very simple. They have the cooks, the chefs, and they said, why we don't do a sushi making course, so that the people maybe after work, they can come there, have an aperitivo or have a drink and have something and learn how to do a sushi at home. And that links to the last innovation that they come up with, which is that they partner up with the fishermen association, or a big distributor of fish that was about to launch an online fishmonger, and who is at the moment one of their key suppliers. And this firm or this association decided to sponsor, so give rebates to the fish of the shop, as well as priority on delivery of special fish, in exchange for visibility and linkage to, for example, the sushi making attendants, that now if they want to make the sushi, they need to buy the fish. The sushi bar is not doesn't sell fish, it sells the end product. So that was, all this come with a 30% increase of sales and basically no investment except some interesting creative thinking. The second example, it's in a totally different industry, and the business I'm talking about is a vet practice. So a medium-sized practice, 3 veterinary and 4 or 5 employees around the practice. And this, like any business, was facing a downturn. They were facing quite a big challenge, so they were looking for something to improve their business. So what they come up with is that they noticed that a lot of their customers, they are very, especially for companion animals, cats and dogs, they're very attached to their animal. They're very, very passionate about their animal. And they come basically back to the shop many times to ask for nutritional products, grooming products, as well as for the clinical treatment and checkups that are required by law or just by the, looking after the health of those animals. So what they thought of is come up with a package, a monthly package that would include, and giving a little bit of a rebate, quite good value for money, but recurrent, that would include all the treatments, all the nutritional supplements, all the grooming products that are necessary, all for a monthly fee of a tenner. And that increased by itself enormously the sales, increased the loyalty of the customers. And then on top of that, they created something, again, borrowing existing technology, going on the net, downloading a very basic online community software, basically a website, where they put up all the clinical record of the pets, so that each of the pet owner would be able to have the different reports that normally are paper-based. You never know where to put them for each of the animals that they own or that they have, as well as put some news about pets and new regulations, or just simply best practices of how to groom them better and so forth, as well as the community of all the clients, of all the customers of the vet practice that could share tips and share ideas, ask questions to the community as well as to the vets that they participate and moderate the blog. Finally, this vet practice. So with those two first initiatives, they actually increased sales quite in a big way, almost half in the segment of companion animal. But then they were also looking at improving margins. And in that respect, who are the supplier of vet? They are the big pharma company or the big nutritional companies, which are far bigger than any vet. So this vet practice took the initiative of putting together a number of vets in the neighborhood regions, so that they could together form a small buying group, but definitely much bigger than any of the individual vet practice. So in a way to negotiate better deals with the nutritional company, the pharma company, as well as to manage better stock, because each one of those vet practice had his own stock, and in this way they can share stock so that they don't have a lot of working capital stuck in each singular vet. And because they're not competing to each other, because they are in different areas, that come very cheap. And again, very simple example of how, with clever ideas, creative thinking, a little bit of sharing of best practices, and borrowing ideas from other sectors, small firms could increase their sales, improve their margins, still stay small, because they didn't become the big firms, but small means that they can grow as well, and grow in a clever way, in a healthy way, and in a sustainable way.